Hey Scott, doing great, thank you.
Great.
And thanks everybody for coming to the webinar. I noticed the attendance is a little bit down, and that's be expected. I've been at this business too long to know what happens in August, and especially as you get closer to Labor Day. But I do see some regular faces, regular names, I should say. And thank you guys, thanks everybody for coming. So let's get started here. Before we do, let's dive into our disclaimer, just to protect ourselves. Guys, I'm going to be talking about some stuff today, some stocks and some ideas, but nothing is to be construed as investment advice. Okay, this is for educational purposes only. If you are seeking some investment advice, look for someone licensed in that capacity, like a broker or an RIA. All right, let's talk about the big summit that's coming up. And this is going to be our biggest summit yet, if you base it the size on the speakers that we have. We have an incredible lineup for you, headlined by Brett Steinbarger, excuse me, who is well-renowned, PhD, has done many things as far as helping traders with their mental capacity to trade. So anyway, guys, it's going to be great stuff. Brian Shannon, I know you've heard us talk about him a lot. Steve and I know him, great guy, and wrote a very good book on technical analysis in all time frames, one of the leading books in that category. And JC Peretz, he's going to be joining us, another CMT who, man, just a really cool lineup. This is going to be October 20th. All right, get your tickets early while they're on sale, and basically buying them about half the price you will down the road. So if you want to know more about it, just go to TradeIdeasEvents.com down there at the bottom. All right, let's move forward here. Talk about our 5-star support, education, and training that we have going on here at Trade Ideas. This is for most of those people in here who are thinking about maybe been looking at some of our YouTube videos and kicking the tires, thinking about getting it. I want you to know that we have incredible amount of support, education, and training here. And it starts in the trading room with Barry, who is our head moderator, longtime trader, good trader, and that's a place where you can go. It's free to everyone. So come in there and watch Barry and listen and watch all the other traders. There's some really good ones in there. There's about 500. So great hangout. We have webinars throughout the week in the same time slot, 5 Eastern, Monday through Thursday. You can see the lineup there. The one that's missing is the Trade of the Week webinar, and that's hosted by Steve Gomez, and I'm his sidekick, and that's on Tuesdays. But you can see the rest of the lineup there. And then on Friday, tomorrow, guys, if you have any more questions about the software, we have a 3-hour open forum Q&A. Just come in there. 11 a.m. Eastern is when that starts. And it's a great place to come, because we are not going to be up here with any agenda and spewing nonsense out of our mouth. It's just going to be a straight Q&A. All right, so be sure to get in that tomorrow. TI University, you think what I showed you on the previous page is enough, but no, we don't stop there. We have, for all those who sign up, subscribe, you get to attend free TI University. This is about 6 hours worth of content starting on every Monday at 12 Eastern. You get the 101 and you graduate each day, same time slot. And these classes last about an hour, sometimes a little bit more, but then we have plenty of time afterwards for Q&A. So great stuff. We've been getting a huge incredible feedback on this TI University. So if you haven't taken it and you still feel like you're a little behind on the software, get in there. And if you are kicking the tires, remember, if you sign up, please sign up for the TI University. It's going to help you. All right, introducing Brokerage Plus. We've been introducing this for a while. It's been in beta phase. It's about to come out of beta phase from what I was told today in our marketing meeting. So if you are looking to join and you have premium, you might want to do it pretty quick, okay? Because I think there's going to be a price associated with it going forward once it comes out of beta. This is a way for you to auto trade your strategies on Interactive Brokers. So guys, if you want more information, go to trade-ideas.com/beta. And this is, guys, it's more for the intermediate to advanced. Okay, if you're a new trader, you're probably not ready for this. All right, agenda for today. I'm going to go over the market recap. Talk about what I was noticing earlier in the day. Apple and Amazon was kind of single-handedly holding up the market. The Holly recap, we'll go over that. Not a bad job by Holly today. It was a nasty kind of day in the market, and we'll talk about that as well. And then I have a new top list that's going to have a symbol list attached to it, and it's a global market watcher, okay? And a lot of people may think, well, I don't have any use for this, but it's always good to kind of have your pulse on the world market, and we'll talk about that, you know, going forward. That'll be our last segment of the day. Let's see, I got a question here. The TI, yes, the TI University is free for all, but subscribers, right, Abby? So even if you've been with us for 2 or 3 months and you feel like you need it, hey, sign up for it. Just like, thank you, Scott. He got to you there. Brokerage, Stan, do me a favor. Any questions regarding Brokerage Plus? I just don't have time to dive into too much of that today. Send it to info@trade-ideas.com. We will have that email up at the end of our webinar here. Scott will show it to you. Thank you, Scott. He just dropped it in there for you. Send it there, and we will answer that for you for sure. And Scott is on the ball. Thank you, Scott. All right, let's talk about ways to win in a post buy the dip market. All right, we're not there yet. Obviously, the market has been bought, it seems like, on every dip. Trust me, I've been trading for 20 years. We will get there. There will be a time. And what we put together was a book for you to, you know, 5 strategies, or not, yeah, I guess it is 5 strategies to win in a post buy the dip market. So get that at trade-ideas.com/ebook. That's where you want to go for the free download, and some really great strategies in there. All right, let me back out, save that for Scott later, and we'll talk about the market here. And I always like to pull it up. Spiders, we always kind of lead with the spiders because they comprise of 500 stocks. They're kind of more equally weighted than what you're going to find in the Qs. Let's zoom in a little bit, and there we go. All right, so guys, it's kind of the same story you probably heard from me on Monday and what you heard from Steve on Tuesday, and I think I chimed in as well. We laid out a possible scenario. We kind of broke through this high in the spiders, got a nice little about 4 days of run, and today we kind of pulled back, down day, not just down 0.4%, so not too bad. So the question is, are we going to pull back? In many cases, anytime you have kind of a major breakout as this, you do come back and test that breakout level. I'm not saying it's going to happen. This market has been very resilient lately. It could be one where we just trade sideways. Or, if we come down here and maybe we get some macro news or whatever, this could end up being a false breakout. If it fails and comes back down, we have to, lay every scenario out. I will do my best to kind of pan out the best case scenario, just because this has been a bullish day. And I thought the way the trading was over here for several months, I really was afraid we'd be stuck in this range for a lot. And I know a lot of you people heard me say it. But we had enough strength before the summer ended to break out here, and that's what we've done. And I would watch this area that we broke out of real close. If we can, hold that. If we do pull back, we need to hold that for the bulls argument and to stay intact, or maybe we just go sideways in this rising 10-period moving average. You can see this moving average is kind of fanning again. So that would be incredible strength if we go sideways and then just move higher from there. Can you default charts to a time frame? Yes. Yes, you can, Stan. It's really easy. You go right click, time frame. You can see we have several different time frames there to choose from. I'm on daily right now. All right, let's take a look at the Qs. and very similar, even stronger than the spiders. You can see they were just barely down today, marginally, and with a little inside doji day. Diamonds. Diamonds still haven't taken out their high. We don't pay a whole lot of attention to the diamonds anymore because once again, it's still kind of 30 stocks, but you still have to, we still track the Dow. All the news medias, they track the Dow, so we have to keep it in mind. But you can see here's the breakout, still a ways away from that breakout high in the diamonds. And IWM is going to look more like the Qs, and the spiders broke out from this level right here and moving higher and going sideways. So there you have it. I do want to talk, it's interesting today. I pulled up, the spiders had a gap down. Here was the spiders, kind of slopping around back and forth. It was kind of a tough day if you're a trader, especially an intraday trader. A lot of back and forth to highs and lows, and finally went to highs to go back to lows and then back to highs again. But it was interesting as the market was doing this. I took a look at Apple, and it was just constantly marching higher. Even after this big run it's already had, it was just kind of still off to the races. I said, wow, it's interesting. And I took a look at Amazon, and it was pretty much doing the same thing, just charging higher, just kind of ignoring the overall market. Of course, the Qs were strong. Anytime you have Amazon and Apple, they have such a big weighting in the Qs. The Qs are going to be holding up a little bit better, and they were this morning. They were pretty much flat, but I thought that was interesting as the market was trying to sell off. Those two just kept powering higher. So as this dovetails into Holly, which is going to be my next topic, I want to take a look first at what we were looking at this morning. And once again, the spiders is the best of the kind of barometers for the overall market, if you will. So we had a gap down, and once again, some really sloppy action. A lot of back and forth, and this makes it hard for any strategy. I don't care what you're trying to do. You get a gap down and you get a lot of back and forth action until, of course, the trade wars rumors started to hit again. We started selling off, but Holly did pretty well. I mean, you can see here we had Holly Neo risk off 58 cents. I mean, trust me, it's nothing. There were a lot of trades in this, so this is nothing to write home about. This is better, only 17 trades, up 1.4 in risk off. But you notice how Holly 2.0, it performed well in risk on, So why is that? Why did these two perform best in risk off and Holly was 2.0 was risk on? Well, if you take a look here, it was a down market for the most part, and this is 2.0. You could see had a lot of shorts going on. And thus not a lot of trades, only 6 trades, 5 of them were shorts. And this program one right here, we had it in 2 strategies, and I thought it was a good trade when I first saw it put on. It looked like it was rolling over, but then it gathered up steam, so that kind of hurt to Neo in this one. But let's take a look at some of the other ones I wanted to kind of point out, and because I noticed this morning, and I wanted to point this out because this is good for you to know, because we talk about directional bias sometimes when Holly gets loaded up one way. In other words, if you see the market not doing anything and then all of a sudden you see a bunch of Holly longs going off, that maybe you might want to keep your eye on the market direction is going higher, with a bullish tape. Well, today I noticed, that let me put it back on time, sort by time here. Yeah, this is it. So Holly Neo this morning, in the first 30 minutes, had a couple of longs and then had a couple of shorts. And I noticed out of the gates, let's pull back up the spiders right quick, that these two were not working very well at all. You can see in risk off, they both got out for basically a loser. This one was actually a stop hit, but these worked very nicely on risk off. And you put back up the spiders, we gapped down, we could never really fill the gap, and then we rolled over. So I was thinking this morning that this could be a down day. Of course, then we gathered some strength here for some reason, and then we finally did roll over. But I was noticing that this morning, and it brought to my attention, guys, when you're watching Holly, a lot of times, like in a day like today, when you get a lot of back and forth action, a lot of these setups are going to be setting up on the long and the short side because you're kind of not going anywhere. So obviously these, if had we opened up and done nothing but sold straight down, you probably would have got nothing but shorts for the most part. Same thing if we'd have gapped up and went strong, higher, we probably wouldn't have got, these two shorts. So, and then I noticed another one not long after that. It's MTZ about 40 minutes later, look at there. There's another short that worked really well. Target hit, beautiful short. Boom. That was just a very nice trade. So in the early going, I'm saying, wow, the shorts are working and the longs weren't. So that can be a way for you to gather some directional bias. Even though Holly's not showing you by the side of the trade, you can gather that information by saying, wow, the shorts are working and the longs aren't, And then of course we did go lower from there at this point. You can see right there we did go down, and then of course we bounced back up, and she started taking some long setups were being made. But tough day. I mean for her to basically end up green in all three segments, that's a feather in her cap, I believe. Holly Grail, not bad, only 17 trades, but once again you can see it was mostly a risk off. Risk on was actually down because reason why? Look at all these longs in here. You only had two shorts, the rest of them were long. Well, those longs may have paid in the beginning. Here's one target hit, but what happened? Market pulled it back down, so the risk on was only 45 cents. All right, let me see. Is there a news feed? Mike, no, we don't have a news feed on here, but what we do have is and the reason we don't, and trust me, I'm one of the very first users of this product. I actually built some strategies for it. You're going to find out that usually the price action is going to beat you long before the news do. There's no way you're going to ever out respond the high frequency algo reading, tape reading, or news reading algos out there. It's just not going to happen. So we pride ourselves on the price action happening before the news, which is pretty much all before you can get the news anyway. But if you want to get the news afterhand, it's real easy. You just right click on a symbol, send to web, that quick, pulls up my Yahoo Finance real quick, and there it is. I have all the news I want on this ticker. And if you want to put it on FinViz, you have a drop down box for things you can choose from. Or if you have a custom one that you use, say a paid news site, you can have it go in directly to there. So it's real easy to quickly, yeah, it's pretty cool, Stan. I mean, you just right click, send to, always have trouble finding it, to web, boom, and you're there. So you can get the news pretty quick. All right, let me see. This may end up being a Q&A. You guys have a lot of questions today, but that's okay. I don't mind. Let's see. A trade that is rolling over. It is reversing a downside trend. Actually, she went offline, so I'm not going to get hers right now. All right, looks like we're all caught up. So for the most part, guys, Holly, I think Holly Grail was probably one of the most impressive because she came with a lot of long strategies. Fired off. Her exit times were good. Only a couple of losers, around 20 cents, a little bit, and she did have a nice little profit target hit up here. But a tough day in the market, like I said, anytime, guys, you get, action like we saw today, back and forth, highs, lows, it makes it tough trading. And anybody out there's trade can agree with me on that, I think. All right, what do I have for you that's cool today? I always try to have something that's cool for you today. And I'm going to show you what I've done. And I'm going to show you kind of how I go about doing these things, because if you want to do something like this on your own, you don't need to wait for us to show you how. I mean, you can do it with this software. So I'm thinking, I'm working with a lot of professionals now, money managers, RIAs, whatever it is. So they like different stuff than the retail does. because they don't have the time to sit around and trade like we do all the time. All right, they're out visiting customers, going to meetings. So I wanted to put together a global market watcher. So in other words, a way they could pull up a top list real quick and get a real good idea of what the market's doing around the world. So what I wanted to do, I'm thinking about this, well, I'll just have something like my sector analysis down here. Okay, I think I first I made a duplicate of this, changed a few columns because I needed a company name in there because I'm going to be using ETFs, right? We don't track funds and things like that, mutual funds, so we have to have an ETF. So I said, what can I use here? I said, the first thing that came to my mind is, well, iShares. They have like iShare for anything. So I went to iShares. This is their site. If you just type in iShares.com, you can find it'll come up for you, and look at all the things you can look for. Okay, I can do equities. Okay, I can do fixed income. Now remember, these are all actually fixed income is 0 as asset classes, like they're all equity. But you can come over here to popular strategies. Okay, and what I did is I just clicked it on country. Okay, so when I hit country, I got a bunch of iShares on different countries. Okay, and you can see the net assets there. So what I wanted to do, I'll just do it for you. Okay, so what you can do is you see this, and I just said, well, I am just going to download it to get me a spreadsheet. And so I downloaded it in Excel, pull it up. All right, so now I have, let me span this so you can see what I'm looking at. Now I have all these ETFs, all right, that are iShares of all these countries. So now if I can just copy these tickers and put them into a top list, a symbol list, bingo, I'm there. So, and that's what I did. I'm not going to go through that. All you basically have to do is just do this, you know, copy them and then drop them into a top list. Well, I've already done that, but I will say this. There's tons of them, so I just took about the top 45 or 50, and I left out all the little small cap ones. So when I see four letter symbol, I know it's probably you know, like a 400 or a small cap or something like that. So I just wanted to go with the major, you know, like top 40, and that's what I did. So let me go ahead and close this out, minimize this, and take you to my tools, symbol list, and I got a lot in here. There's my, I actually got one from fixed incomes. Global ETFs, I got the top 41. Edit list, and there you are seeing them. All right, so now I know if I have these and I just drop these into a top list, man, I can get all this data on world markets. All right, so that's what I did. This is the final product. So you may be asking, hold on, let me get a drink of water here, hold on. There's been a lot of solo talking for August. I mean, a lot of vacations, a lot of people moving. All right, so I dropped all these into a symbol list. I put the company name. I know it's not a company, but trust me, if you put company name, a column, you are going to be able to get the name of all these countries out there, these ETFs of these countries, and you can see how they're doing. And I love using a position in year range. Okay, so because this is going to show me, you know, where they are. Obviously, Peru, Turkey, having a very bad year. We can click on these. You'll be able to see the charts. Another bad day for Peru. And you may be asking, like, Andy, why do I care if Peru is selling off? Well, trust me, guys. It was like I said when I was going over the agenda. It's always good. I don't care what type of trading. I mean, I'm not saying you should have this up on your screen, looking at it all the time. No. But it's good maybe to have this and saved in your cloud so you can pull it up maybe once or twice a week. Have your pulse on the world markets. I mean, how many of you knew that Israel's close to 52-week highs? And having a banner year. How many of you knew that Qatar is having a pretty good year. But and also, yes, you're right, Wally. He makes a good point. The world is one community now, so this is important. You're right. It's a global economy, and a lot of people are pointing to this, saying, "Wow, you know, because look at all these countries that are having and not just you know, the Perus and Turkeys. I mean, take a look at let's take a look at Germany, EWG. I mean, nowhere near its all-time highs. Look at that. Look how far that is from its all-time highs. That's not a pretty chart. In the same way, I could, you know, show you other ones in Europe as well, and they're all going to kind of look alike. And not only that, all you got to do is position in your range. Look at this graph. You only got what, you know, on a position in your range, you got maybe what, 5 or 6, you know, that are up on the year, or I should say in the upper 50% of the year range, which is bad. What about South Africa? You know what? I think I have it in here. Let me see. If I don't, maybe I'll have to go. David, I leave it up to you to find one I don't have. But oh, there it is. There's another one. Bad day today, David. Yeah, look at that ugly tape today. Gap down. I saw a few of these. Just emerging. If you just do MEEM, this is emerging markets. It had a bad day too. So it's important, guys. I mean, let's face it. Not maybe not for your day trading, but you know, if you're sitting in, you know, 401k, or maybe you have a retirement or just money invested for the long term, you might want to keep an eye on this. You know, because a lot of people are saying, well, you know, including myself, because I know it's a world economy, and I was like, wow, can we keep this up with the rest of the world lagging this far behind? I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell. But maybe we eventually drag some of these other ones, you know, up higher. But it's good. It's a good thing just to have. You know, like I said, I won't. This will not be on my default screen, but I will have it in my cloud. And what I'll do is probably every you know, 2 or 3 times a week, just pull it up to see what's happening. See what's falling apart. I mean, look at Brazil, Turkey. I don't even think Argentina's in here. It's probably so beaten up, but I think that's RAR. Somebody could help me out there. I can't remember what that one is, but it was falling out of bed today. So these are the top 40. Thank you, David. Let's take a look at it as he speaks. ARGT. Ooh, that's ugly. Of course, that was all over the news today. The Argentina peso was getting just clobbered. Yeah, they're in bad shape. But you know, that's a big economy. You got to keep an eye on things like that, you know, because you know, there could be some. I'm sure there is a lot of carryover effect on other countries. So, you know, keep an eye on stuff like that. Like I said, for your day trading, maybe not so much, but obviously if you're doing swing trading, especially investing, and who knows, I mean, these are ETFs, guys, where you can go out and buy too, just like you can a stock. So maybe you can find some opportunity in a longer term account or something like that. I'm not suggesting day trade these things, but you know, who knows, maybe you can find FXI. Anybody like China? It hasn't been looking too good lately. I mean, have you noticed a lot of the China internet stocks? They're doing nothing like our KWeb is the one. Look at this. That is kind of an ugly chart. So, and you look at our, you know, our internets, and boy, they're doing, you know, quite well. Let's see what Wally says here. At the end of the day, our market in the U.S. will be affected eventually by internet. You're right. Yeah, right. Wally, it always goes back. Now, it's good to know, but don't base decisions on, you know, stuff you're seeing, because price is the only thing it pays. So what I don't want you to do is say, oh man, Andy's saying the world economy looks like crap, I'm gonna go short a bunch of spiders. You know, that's not the way it works. But this right here can kind of maybe tip you off. Hey, I'm going to keep an eye on our markets because the world economy is not doing that good. And I heard a little, I hope I didn't. You guys can still hear me, can't you? Okay. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I heard a little blurp noise in my headset, and I wasn't sure what, if I lost a signal or something. But thank you, Wally, David, and Robert. So, guys, I'm going to share this with you, and what I'm going to do here is go into the dashboard. Now, I'm going to have to do a couple of things here. Okay. First of all, I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you this top list. Now, it's not going to be pointing to the, unless you have already have this in your system, which I doubt how highly. But what I'm going to do is save and share, copy all, and I'm going to drop this into the chat area, and I'll just type global markets. So in your chat area of your GoToWebinar interface, you'll be able to see that, and then I will paste this top list in there. And now what I'm going to have to do, and for those of you guys who are listening and you think you might want this, you can try going to that iShares and just copying those. If you don't want to go through all that romance, you could just email me and I can send you the symbol list. Because what I'm going to have to do for those in here is I can just make it easy for you, and I will send you the symbol list I have. But if you want more, I only did like the top 40, so if you want to maybe grab the top 50 or 60, you could go in there and like I showed you, go to iShares and just grab them yourself. So let me go into this, edit list, and let's copy and paste. Make sure I got all of them here. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to paste it in the chat. Make sure you guys can copy that. I think you should be able to. Let me know if you can't. I'm going to figure out a different way to see. I'm probably going to have to put it on like a Word doc or something. But hopefully you can copy from the chat. All right. So real quickly again, guys. It's wise to kind of have your pulse, you know, or your finger on the pulse of the world market, regardless of what time. Okay, thanks, Mike. I appreciate that. And not only that, you can be smart when you're having a drink with your trading buddies, you know, and you can talk about the world markets. But anyway, yeah, it's good stuff. Okay, Ricardo, he asked, how do I, okay, good question. I'm glad you asked that. How do I insert all the symbols at once? Well, it's very easy. You just copy, okay? Obviously, you know how to copy them, right, Ricardo? Once you copy them, all you have to do is go to Tools, Symbol List, Create New List. You're going to name it whatever you want, Global Markets, iShares. I'll name this iShares ETFs. Global, give it a different name so I don't mess up my one I have, and click OK. All right, so now you created the symbol list. Okay, it's going to say empty. All right, so what you're going to do here is click on it and you're going to say edit list, and that's where you're going to go in here and right click and paste all the symbols in there. So let me know if that works for you, Ricardo. And once you do that, you got to make sure you hit OK, and then you'll see all those symbols in there. Okay, I'm going to delete this since I already have it in another one. So delete list. Worked perfect. Oh, great, Ricardo. Great to hear. Yeah, symbol list. I'm kind of glad I did this too, because for the new traders who may not have used symbol list, that's how it works. It can, at first, until you get comfortable with it, it can be a little quirky, but it works great once you get to know it. All right, guys, I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, I was gonna just that's gonna wrap that up. Good idea to have it. Are there other symbol lists you shown available for use? Are you talking about, I mean, yeah, but a lot of these are just a lot of these are old. A lot of these are old, and I need to go through and Bitcoin I just used. I created that just to make our Bitcoin when I created the Bitcoin channel, the blockchain and cryptocurrency, so that you can get that from that one. Yeah, there's not, some of these actually are like money managers. I created a symbol list for their favorite clients, so or their biggest clients. So I create a symbol list for them, so I can create some sort of portfolio watcher for them. So, and really, a symbol list is something you kind of want to create on your own. Yeah, Kirk says, I like the IBD 50. That's a great deal. You can grab that list. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because currently I am looking at that list, because I wasn't looking at it when I created our composite rating, which you guys don't have yet. Be patient on this. It's coming, but I've learned with the developers, you just don't try to get an ETA. But the point I was making I started looking at the IBD just to compare our scores to them, and you know, I'm finding out that ours is probably a little more technical related than theirs, are a little more fundamental earnings, especially, I noticed. But yes, Kurt, you can grab that IBD list and drop this into a symbol list and use it on you know, something like this, a top list where you can just watch that IBD list. That's a great way to put that to use. One last thing before I just noticed, I pulled up my bull flag daily setup. This is one I went over a couple of weeks ago, and I shared with you guys. Some pretty interesting, these five, because I always love when the market's selling off and I can find strength in stocks, you know, kind of for me to keep an eye on once we do get a bounce. And I found some really good, interesting plays in this, and I know most of you in here have this. If you don't, just send me an email telling me you want the bull flag daily setup, and I'll send it to you. Just send it to info@trade-ideas.com. But anyway, yeah, there are a couple of good ones in here. This ESNT, this is pretty strong, and it you know, you've had your move up at least 3% in the last 10 days, and now you're kind of going sideways. I am not going to like drop these into a price alert. You guys could just kind of write them down if you want to keep a look at them. TCO, here's another one. Okay, you got a stock that is moving higher. Right, now you going sideways, just bouncing right off this 10-period moving average. And this, I love to use things in my single stock window, because I can see here this position in year range is, man, pretty strong. Position in 10 days, obviously right up there. But look at the position in lifetime range. Man, this thing has been beaten up over the years. So I'm not sure what the heck happened there. That's interesting. I'm not sure what's going on out there, but anyway. Nonetheless, over the last several months, this is forming a nice little chart. EQM, yeah, I'm not too crazy about that one. I like for my flag to be a little more tighter than that. That's a little too sloppy. There's a really nice one, a healthcare company. You know, boy, just nice. A couple of kind of healthcare related stocks. This one. And then you got Johnson & Johnson, another up move, and there's your kind of bull flag. Let me draw this to show you kind of what I'm talking about. Let's see, let's do a horizontal line right there, and let's do a markup trend line and put that right there, and you can kind of see the bull, beautiful little flag there. So if it can pop up, I probably need to put that a little bit higher. I'm having a hard time with these things. There you go. So a pop above this area, yeah, you could have, you might want to come in, just put a little price alert right there if it pops above it. So anyway, I wanted to bring back this to your attention because I'm still seeing some pretty good setups in this. So keep an eye on the bull flag daily setup, especially for you guys who like to swing trade. You can find some really good setups in there. All right, guys. You know what? These things have been running a little bit shorter when I don't have my sidekick. We kind of get talked out a little bit. Like I said, the crowd's a little, well, no, we end up having an okay crowd in here. But I will, if anybody wants to look at, for me to look at any charts, I'll be happy to do that, for about 5 minutes if you wanted to. You're welcome, Waleed. Yes, thank you for your kind words, and you are welcome. Let's see. So if anybody has any, Andy, could you look at ATTU? I sure can. Found it on your bouncers alert. Okay, that's one of Steve's. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, not a bad one. Big nice gap up over here, and it hasn't really looked back since. And right now it's bounced. This is the all important 10-period moving average. So this is a typical near highs, 3 days of pullback. And what I like about these, if it does take out this high, in other words, if it takes out the high from today, right, just put your little price alert in there, and if it takes it out, that is a lot of times theoretically that can be a very good setup. So yes, Lynn, that's interesting. CTOS, David wants me to look at. Oh, another one, Dave. That's a good one. This is you got one that's been pretty much just elevating now for darn near all month. It had a move up in the early part of the month and going sideways. I'm always a little skeptical sometimes when they break out of it. It took out the high yesterday, and it didn't follow through. That doesn't mean it can't pull back a little bit and get it the next time. But I usually when they do take out those ranges, I want them to go. But nonetheless, that's a very strong chart. It's once again holding that all important moving average there. But not bad at all, David. Don Wilson wants to look at CAT. CAT, CAT's been beaten up lately. As far as the year range, you looked at the lifetime range, it's still not far from its lifetime range. This is one, it's finally gotten above a few moving averages, but it's below its 200-day. And below its, that's just a 10-day, so that's not all that on the big picture of things. David, this is one where I would probably look for a trend break, maybe draw a line. I'm not going to do it right now, but maybe draw a trend line from that high and maybe look for it, because if it got through that level, it's probably going to be breaking its 200-day moving average at the same time. This is not one, that I would definitely jump in now, because it's in no man's land. It's right in the middle of its range. It can go either way. It's best to be, safe than sorry. I would wait for a trend break. If you drew a line from there down through this trend, you're going to find it right around 150, and then I would be interested in something like that. Costco for Don on Costco. Okay, Don's going to squeeze 2 in here. I think I know what Costco is going to look like. It's going to look very strong. Yeah, nothing wrong with that chart. It's not my idea after a huge run that it's had. I mean, basically from 200 to 230, so about a 15% move over the last couple of months. That's pretty big for a big move, a big freight liner like Costco. But there's definitely nothing bearish about it. No reason why it can't go higher. I just don't know how much juice it's going to have, if it does, because it has had a big move. Trading at PE ratio of 33 for a big one like that. I mean, it's probably fairly valued at best right now. I'm just throwing things out of what, it's a very strong chart, and it can go higher. I just don't think I'm not sure how much alpha, really potential it may have to go that much higher. Mike, yes, this is being recorded. All right, it is, and Scott, when he signs that, he'll tell you about when you can, probably get it either tonight or tomorrow morning. All right, guys, it looks like that's all the stock recommendations there. Okay, one more time, one more here. This will be the last one, Splunk, and yeah, I know what this is going to look like too. This is, big day. This was coming all through my extreme volume, high, low, pro. And this is why I tell people when you see stocks coming through this, don't think it's just a day trade. A momentum alert does not have to be a day trade only. There's a lot of times there's extra, juice in these things for like 4 or 5 days. There's nothing wrong with that. It's, pretty close to its lifetime high. It's your, all-time high. This is turning into a pivot point, I can see almost right here. So if I were long, I would not probably want it to drop back below this 120. That was kind of the prior high. It got through it, tested it the next day, tested it the next day, and then, more strength. So that would be my line in the sand. But yeah, there looks like there could be plenty of, momentum left in that for sure. All right, guys, thank you so much for your attendance today. You guys were great, and I'm going to bring Scott back in, and he's going to walk us out, and you guys hang on because he has a discount code for you. Let me pull back up my liner, and Scotty, go ahead.
Hey, thanks, Andy. Yeah, a couple items on the way out. Everyone should know we have a podcast, really easy to subscribe to. Just search for Trade Ideas Podcast in the application you listen to your podcasts in and subscribe. We should have a new one out tomorrow. Some of the recent ones have been from the archives because we've had people on vacation. And there's a lot of great ones in the archives, too. Look for some of the guest pieces. But we're back on schedule with new releases, so stay tuned. We've also got a summit coming up in October. Find out the details at TradeIdeasEvent.com, and tickets are available. We've got some early bird pricing going on now between now and September 15th. They're half price, basically. Great speaker lineup. Learn all about it at TradeIdeasEvent.com. We've got a promo code to save you some money. Use Hot Summer before the end of the month, which is coming up tomorrow night. So use this code before the end of business tomorrow to save on any subscription or upgrade. Hot Summer, all caps. Saves out the first month or year. If you have questions, email them to info@trade-ideas.com. That goes directly into our help desk software and gets routed to the appropriate team member. You can follow Steve Gomez at Today Trader on Twitter. Jamie Hodge, absent today, is at QuantBot on Twitter. On Facebook, we're facebook.com/TradeIdeasPro, and you can like our page so that you see the updates we post there, and you can share them with your friends. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, audience, and we'll have the recording up later on, probably tonight or tomorrow morning. You'll get an email reminder tomorrow about how to find that playlist.
Yes, Scott, thank you for helping out in the questions panel, and thanks everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow in the Q&A session we have. So make it if you can.
Later on.
Bye-bye.